United States will no longer automatically defend its European allies in the event of an attack unless they increase their defense spending. America should not pay for the security of others. These statements by Donald Trump has caused an uproar among European leaders. Is the entire collective security system, in place since 1949, now collapsing before our eyes? Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk responded, "It's absurd that 500 million Europeans are asking 300 million Americans to protect them from 140 million Russians. Is Europe ready to take its security into its own hands? Can it survive without U.S. support? Does it have enough weapons and technology to defend itself? And who will lead a unified European military force? Find out all the answers in our video. The question of autonomous European defense has become more relevant than ever. Europe no longer understands the future role of the United States in global security. Trump has repeatedly spoken about a possible NATO withdrawal. Even during his first presidential term, 2017 to 2021, he called NATO an outdated alliance. The US leaving NATO could become a reality in the coming days. The threat from Russia today is entirely real. After the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, Europe realized that the military threat is not hypothetical, but entirely real. The Baltic states, Poland, Finland, and Sweden. Who could be next? But even without the US withdrawal, the alliance faces serious problems. Lack of a unified vision of threats. In 2023, Hungary blocked aid to Ukraine, while Turkey delayed Sweden's NATO accession. Financial inequality. The US spends more than 3.5% of its GDP on defense, while most EU countries barely reach 2%. Lack of common agreement. For example, France seeks greater European autonomy, while Poland advocates closer ties with the US. Amid this crisis, European companies such as Airbus, BAE Systems, Rheinmetall, and Leonardo have the technological potential to develop their own modern weapons. Meanwhile, Germany, France, and Poland are already significantly increasing their military budgets, and Volkswagen recently announced its intention to enter the arms industry. So why shouldn't Europe build its own army? Breaking free from the US dependence would make the EU more independent in international affairs, and forming a powerful army could turn Europe into a military super-alliance on par with US and China. Well, as Trump likes to say, cards on the table. Let's see who has what. France is the most powerful military state in the EU. It is the only European Union country that possesses nuclear weapons, specifically 290 nuclear warheads. Moreover, France is not part of NATO's nuclear sharing program, and its nuclear deterrence strategy is based on the concept of sufficient deterrence, dissuasion nucléaire. What does this mean in practice? Unlike Germany, Belgium, Italy, or other NATO countries that rely on the American nuclear umbrella, France does not require approval from the US or NATO to use its arsenal. This makes it the most autonomous nuclear power in Europe. France employs a 4-tier nuclear deterrence system. The first is Oceanic Strategic Forces, 4 Triumphant-class nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines. Each submarine is armed with 16 intercontinental M51 missiles. The M51 has a range of over 10,000 kilometers, and each missile carries 6 to 10 warheads. France maintains at least one submarine at sea at all times, ensuring a guaranteed retaliation capability in case of an attack. The second is Aerial Strategic Forces. Around 40 Rafale B fighter jets are capable of carrying ASMPA nuclear missiles. These supersonic cruise missiles have a range of 500 kilometers. Currently, France is developing the ASN-4G, an upgraded version with hypersonic capabilities. And then there's the Charles de Gaulle, France's only aircraft carrier and the only non-American carrier in the world with a nuclear propulsion system. It serves as the flagship of the French Navy and a key asset in France's strategic power projection worldwide. The third level is Strategic Command Center, FOST and FAS. France has an independent nuclear command center, allowing for fully autonomous decision-making. The President of France carries a nuclear briefcase, Chevrolet Nucléaire, similar to the American nuclear football. And finally, the fourth level is satellite and radar control. France has an early warning satellite system designed to detect missile launches. In 2020, the country established Space Command, which oversees France's nuclear shield from orbit. And beyond nuclear capabilities, the French armed forces consist of 205,000 active personnel, plus 35,000 reservists. France actively develops its defense industry and strongly supports the idea of a European army independent of the US. More than 70 years, Germany avoided an active military role in global affairs. After World War II, the country developed as an economic superpower, and its army, the Bundeswehr, remained in the shadows. However, following Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24, 2027, Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced the concept of Zeitenwende, epochal turning point, a complete shift in Germany's military doctrine. For the first time in decades, Germany declared that it was no longer just a peaceful nation, but a full-fledged military player in Europe. This marked the beginning of active rearmament. 100 billion euros is the special fund Germany approved in 2022 to modernize its army. The German armed forces are 184,000 active personnel, with 30,000 reservists. So, what is the German military equipped with? Leopard 2A7 tanks are considered among the best in the world. Eurofighter Typhoon fighter jets, Puma IFVs, and Boxer APCs are some of the most advanced European combat vehicles. Iris-T air defense system is one of the most effective medium-range air defense systems. Well, with this modernization, the Bundeswehr has a strong chance of becoming one of the most powerful armies in Europe by the 2030s. If the United States leaves NATO, Germany and France can take on leading roles in Europe's defense. 4% of GDP for the army is the highest percentage among NATO countries in Europe. Which country is it? Surprisingly, it's Poland. Poland has the fastest growing military in Europe. In 2022, the government announced plans to expand its armed forces to 300,000 personnel. The country is undergoing the largest military procurement in its history, aiming to become Europe's most powerful land force by 2035. Among its purchases, 366 Abram M1A2 tanks, 1,000 K2 Black Panther tanks, South Korea, 600 K9 Thunder self-propelled howitzers, 96 AH-64E Apache attack helicopters, Patriot and HIMARS air defense systems. Poland positions itself as the leading military power of Central and Eastern Europe. And finally, Great Britain. While no longer part of the EU, Britain still maintains one of the most powerful militaries in Europe and is the only European nation, besides France, capable of conducting global military operations independently without US support. Yes, the British Army is relatively small, 75,000 active personnel, but it is highly trained. It includes 7,000 elite Royal Infantry troops and over 30,000 reservists. The Royal Navy is the strongest in Europe and the second most powerful in the world, after the US. Its strike force consists of nuclear submarines, destroyers, and 2 aircraft carriers, Queen Elizabeth and Prince of Wales. The Royal Air Force, RAF, is the second strongest air force in Europe after France. It has impressive machines like the Eurofighter Typhoon, F-35B Lightning II, E-7 Wedgetail, and RC-135 Rivet Joint in its arsenal. And finally, the nuclear power. The UK is the second European nuclear power after France, with around 225 nuclear warheads, set to increase to 260. The arsenal includes Trident II D5 submarine-launched ballistic missiles with a range of 12,000 kilometers, deployed on 4 Vanguard-class strategic submarines. The UK relies exclusively on sea-based nuclear deterrence, which makes it dependent on the Navy but ensures a second strike capability in the event of a nuclear war. In addition, Britain is ready to act anywhere in the world. It has bases in the Falklands, Cyprus, Oman, and Singapore. Okay, how do we assess the potential of other Europeans? Italy has a strong defense industry, producing fighters and artillery. Spain has its own military fleet and defense industry. Sweden and Finland are actively increasing their military presence since joining NATO. Let's do the math. The total forces of the EU are military personnel, 1.34 million. Budget, approximately 300 billion euros. Fighters, around 2,000. Tanks, around 5,000. Frigates, around 50. Submarines, around 20. The EU already has significant military capabilities. However, these are currently distributed among countries rather than operating as a unified system. What could a potential unified European army fight with? Yes, there is already a lot of American equipment in Europe, but the actual production is impressive. Here's a list of the top European arsenal. Airplane Eurofighter Typhoon is one of the best multi-role 4+ generation fighters. It was developed through a collaboration between UK, Germany, Italy, and Spain. Maximum speed, 2,450 kilometers an hour, Mach 2.0. Range, 2,900 kilometers, without refueling. The Eurofighter Typhoon has 13 hardpoints and can carry over 9 tons of weapons. Notably, the MBDA Meteor air-to-air missiles are the world's best long-range missiles, up to 200 kilometers, speeds of Mach 4, giving the Typhoon an advantage over most NATO and Russian fighters. Its unique aerodynamics provide extraordinary maneuverability and control, even at low speeds. Its low aerodynamic load allows for sharp turns. The FBW fly-by-wire system automatically adjusts the aircraft's balance and prevents stalling. It outmaneuvers the American F-35. What about the Russians? There's no competition. The Su-35 falls behind in technology and missile capabilities. The Su-57 has low stealth and isn't equipped with missiles as advanced as the Meteor. The Eurofighter holds an advantage in sensors and weaponry. The Eurofighter Typhoon is an air predator that can control the skies in modern warfare. Then there's the Dessu Rafale, one of the best multi-role fighters in the world, combining agility, modern technology, high autonomy, and a wide range of armaments. It's the primary combat aircraft of France, capable of performing 4-in-1 operations: air combat, ground strikes, maritime patrol, and nuclear deterrence. Maximum speed, 1,912 kilometers an hour, Mach 1.8. Range, 37,000 kilometers, without refueling. The Dessu Rafale is one of the most advanced melee aircraft thanks to its perfect balance of aerodynamics and electronics. The Rafale can perform turns with the +9G overload and maneuver better than many Russian aircraft, including the Su-30SM. It also has one of the most intelligent systems in the world. Its IRST, infrared search and track, detects stealth aircraft, F-35, Su-57, by their heat signature. Spectra, EW Captain, is one of the best electronic warfare systems in the world. That means that the Rafale can operate in electronic chaos, detect stealth aircraft, and jam enemy radars. The Rafale has 14 hardpoints and can carry up to 9.5 tons of weapons. The Rafale M is the only NATO fighter, other than American ones, capable of operating from aircraft carriers. It's used on the Charlotte de Gaulle, Europe's only nuclear aircraft carrier, and has a catapult launch system, unlike the F-35B, which uses a ramp. The Rafale has a reinforced structure to withstand landing impacts. The Rafale is the only fighter in Europe that can carry nuclear weapons, ASMP-A. This means France can directly launch nuclear weapons from Rafale fighters. Does Russia have anything like the Rafale? The short answer is no. Russia does not have a direct equivalent to the Dassault Rafale. There are some fighters partially fulfilling similar roles, Su-30SM, Su-35, but they significantly lag behind in technology, electronics, and versatility. This beauty is the Saab JAS-39 Gripen, one of the most efficient, light, multi-role fighters in the world. Created by Sweden for autonomous combat operations, limited infrastructure use, and fighting more powerful enemies. Its key advantages include exceptional maneuverability, unique deployment capabilities, modern sensors, powerful armament, and low operating costs. The Gripen was developed as a killer of heavier planes, capable of defeating even the F-15, Su-30, or Rafale by using tactics, technology, and long-range weapons. Maximum speed, 2,470 kilometers an hour, Mach 2.0. Range, 16,000 kilometers. Combat radius, 32,000 kilometers with additional tanks. The Gripen differs from other modern fighters in its small, smart, and deadly concept. It's designed for war in difficult conditions. It can operate from emergency airstrips, highways, and short-field runways, only 500 meters long. Full autonomy. It can operate without a developed military infrastructure, while the F-35 or Rafale need large bases. Only 5 technicians are needed to maintain it, and they can refuel and rearm the aircraft in just 10 minutes. It's perfect for countries with limited military budgets. Its operating cost is the lowest among modern NATO aircraft, $4,700 per flight hour. It's 3 to 4 times cheaper to maintain than the F-35 or Rafale. The Gripen was created to counter Russian Su-27, Su-30, Su-35 fighters. Sweden has always prepared for potential conflict with Russia, so the Gripen was specifically designed for fighting Russian aircraft. Its tactics include hit, retreat, hit again, using stealth, escort drones, and Meteor missiles. Importantly, the Gripen has one of the world's best electronic protection systems, allowing it to disappear from enemy radars. It has 10 hardpoints and can carry up to 7.2 tons of weapons. The Gripen is a smart killer of heavier and more expensive aircraft, giving smaller countries a chance to defeat powerful enemies. And we can't forget that 13 European countries already have and have ordered additional batches of American F-35s. Notably, the F-35 Lightning II is the most modern, multi-role 5th-generation fighter, combining stealth, advanced avionics, powerful armament, and networked hardware capabilities. The F-35 wasn't designed as a classic air superiority fighter, but as a stealth hunter that detects enemies first and attacks from long range, leaving no chance for a counterattack. In fact, the F-35 isn't just a fighter, it's a combat command center. The F-35 collects information from all its sensors, radar, IRST, EW sensors, satellites, and transmits it to allies in real time. This allows it to coordinate the actions of an entire squadron, drones, ships, and ground forces. Thanks to its stealth and powerful sensors, the F-35 can detect the enemy before they even know it. It even uses long-range missiles, such as the AIM-120D and the AIM-260, to destroy targets before the enemy knows an attack is coming. Its DAS, Distributed Aperture System, 360-degree scans the space around the aircraft, alerting the pilot of missile threats. The F-35 pilot can see through the fuselage thanks to a helmet with augmented reality. The F-35 is a platform for commanding the entire air, ground, and sea battle. It's known that European countries already have over 100 of these monsters in service, and their total number will reach 500 in the coming years. In total, Europe has around 4,500 combat aircraft compared to Russia's 3,800, of which about 1,500 are outdated: MiG-29, Su-24, Su-25, Su-27 Soviet modifications. European aircraft are definitely more modern, with better radars, missiles, and technology. And what about ground vehicles? Well, there's also plenty to brag about. Leopard 2 is the main battle tank, MBT, of German and many European countries, considered the best tank in Europe and one of the best in the world. Initially developed as a response to the Soviet T-64 and T-72, its evolution has made it a leader among modern tanks. This is not just a tank, but an entire family of armored vehicles, where each modification has enhanced its combat capabilities. What do we have here? The tank is fast, highly maneuverable, and maintains high accuracy even when firing on the move. Its powerful armor and advanced survivability systems ensure crew protection, even in the event of an explosion. One of the most precise tanks in the world. The EMES-15 fire control system allows it to engage targets at distances of over 3 kilometers. It features a laser rangefinder and gun stabilization, enabling accurate fire while in motion. The Leopard 2 has undergone continuous modernization and has remained relevant for over 40 years. In the 2020s, the Leopard 2A7 and Leopard 2A8 were developed, surpassing most MBTs worldwide in terms of armor and sensor systems. The Leopard 2 is equipped with a 120mm Rheinmetall L44 or L55 gun, which is more powerful than the Soviet 125mm 2A46 gun found on the T-72, T-80, and T-90. It can penetrate modern armor at distances exceeding 2.5 kilometers. It fires advanced, armor-piercing, fin-stabilized discarding SABO, APF SDS, rounds such as the DM53, DM63, and the upcoming DM73. What about its vulnerabilities? It features composite armor, a combination of special composite and additional modular armor. The latest modifications, Leopard 2A6, 2A7, 2A8, boasts the best protection among European MBTs. The front armor can withstand hits from APF SDS rounds fired by T-72B3 and T-90M tanks. The ADS Active Defense System provides protection against anti-tank guided missiles, ATGMs, like Javelin and Kornet. The Leopard 2 is designed so that its ammunition is stored separately from the crew, reducing the risk of detonation, unlike Russian tanks. Fire suppression and explosion mitigation systems help save the crew even when hit. This is one of the most survivable tanks in the world. In summary, the Leopard 2 is the best MBT in Europe, maintaining superiority over Russian tanks and continuing to serve as NATO's primary tank for years to come. Now, let's look at its competitors. The French Leclerc is an ultra-modern and fast tank. Its key features is the highest rate of fire among MBTs, thanks to an autoloader that enables up to 12 rounds per minute, twice as fast as the Challenger 2 or Leopard 2. Additionally, it is one of the lightest MBTs, 55 tons, making it highly mobile. The Hyperbar engine, 1,500 horsepower, allows speeds of up to 72 kilometers an hour. Its digital fire control system is among the most advanced in the world. The powerful 120mm GIAT CN120-26 gun has a longer barrel than the Leopard 2A6, increasing muzzle velocity. The smaller crew, 3 members, due to the autoloader, reduces personnel risks. However, It has weaker armor compared to the Challenger 2 and Leopard 2, making it more focused on mobility and first strike capability. Leclerc is a fast, high-tech tank ideal for maneuver warfare and hit-and-run tactics. Now entering the stage is the Challenger 2, an armored monster with the toughest armor in the world. The British tank's key feature is its thick composite armor, up to 900mm RHA equivalent against APF SDS, capable of withstanding hits from the most modern rounds. It is the only Western MBT with the rifled gun, L30A1 120mm, offering exceptional long-range accuracy. The Challenger 2 has proven itself in combat. In 2003, it destroyed an Iraqi tank at a record distance of 5,100 meters. It has unmatched crew survivability. No Challenger 2 has ever been destroyed in combat by an enemy, except for friendly fire incidents. Are there downsides? A few. The Challenger is slower than the Leclerc and Leopard 2, maximum speed of 59 kilometers an hour, has a manually loaded gun, and uses an older fire control system, though Challenger 3 will receive an upgrade. The Challenger 2 is armor on tracks, built to hold positions and protect its crew under any conditions. Meanwhile, Poland fields over 100 units of the K2 Black Panther. The Korean Predator is one of the most modern MBTs in the world. It is fully equipped with active protection and high technology. It has the best fire control system among modern MBTs, automatically calculating ballistics and adjusting aiming. Its autoloader, like the Leclerc's, enables a rate of fire of over 10 plus rounds per minute. The powerful 120mm L55 gun, similar to the Leopard 2A6's, is enhanced by modern electronics. A 1500 HP engine and hydro-pneumatic suspension allows the tank to rise or crouch for better firing positions. The KAPS active protection system, akin to Israel's Trophy, intercepts missiles like Javelin and Cornet. The K2 has better mobility in difficult terrain than the Leopard 2 or Challenger 2. Its armor is weaker than the Challenger 2's, but more advanced than the Leclerc's. The K2 is a super tech tank combining mobility, firepower, and advanced electronics. So, if mobility and accuracy are the priority, there's the Leclerc. If maximum armor and survivability are needed, the Challenger 2. If cutting-edge technology, electronics, and active protection are required, the K2 Black Panther. If a balanced mix of armor, firepower, and mobility is needed, the Leopard 2 is the best choice. Now, let's move on to infantry fighting vehicles. The Puma, developed in Germany by Rheinmetall and Krauss-Maffei-Wegmann, KMW, is considered the most protected IFV in the world. It features powerful composite armor, optional active protection, APS, and one of the best fire control systems. It is armed with a 30mm Mk32 ABM automatic cannon, capable of firing programmable rounds. Downsides include a high cost and a small troop compartment, 6 soldiers instead of 8. The Lynx, developed by Rheinmetall, focuses on modularity and versatility. This IFV can be easily adapted for different missions, from a light combat vehicle to a heavily armored IFV with additional protection. It features a 30-35mm Lance cannon and the ability to mount Spike ATGMs. With a powerful engine and modern suspension, the Lynx is more maneuverable than the Puma and can carry up to 8 troops. Its drawback is that its protection level depends on its configuration. The Boxer is a unique wheeled IFV developed by Artec GmbH, KMW, Rheinmetall, FFG, in cooperation with Germany and the Netherlands. Its key feature is a modular design that allows quick changes to combat modules, making it configurable as an armored personnel carrier, APC, IFV, command post, or self-propelled howitzer. The Boxer has high speed, excellent road mobility, and a long operational range, but lower off-road capability compared to the Puma and Lynx. What about European self-propelled artillery? The Panzerhaubitze 2000, PZH-2000, is the most powerful and well-protected self-propelled howitzer, SPH, in NATO. Developed in Germany, it has the highest rate of fire, up to 10 rounds per minute, and a range of up to 67 kilometers with new shells. It features an automatic loading system that enables MRSI, multiple rounds simultaneous impact, allowing multiple shells to hit the target simultaneously. Its armor protects the crew from shrapnel and small arms fire, making it the most survivable SPH. Downsides include its high weight, over 55 tons, complex maintenance, and high cost. Caesar is a lightweight and highly mobile wheeled SPF of French production, Nexter Systems. It uses a truck chassis that provides fast movement, 90 kilometers an hour on roads, and the ability to quickly deploy. Firing range, up to 55 kilometers with active-reactive shells. The main advantage is low cost, easy maintenance, and the ability to quickly deploy, even in hard-to-reach areas. Disadvantages: lack of armored protection for the crew and limited rate of fire, 6 rounds per minute. The Archer is the world's fastest self-propelled artillery system in terms of firing speed and redeployment time. Developed in Sweden by Bay Systems Bofors, it features a fully automated loading system that can fire up to 8 rounds in 45 seconds before immediately changing position. Its maximum range reaches 60 kilometers when using Excalibur shells. The key advantage of Archer is its fully automated operation, allowing the crew to remain inside the armored cabin at all times. The cabin is armored, and thanks to the wheel platform, the Archer can quickly maneuver. The disadvantages are the high cost and complexity of logistics due to the specific Volvo 6x6 chassis. Europe fields around 6,000 modern tanks, while Russia is estimated to have twice as many. However, the difference is significant because most of them are outdated Soviet ones. The Leopard 2A7 Plus or Challenger 3 can destroy a T-72B3 or T-90M at ranges where they cannot effectively return fire. All European IFVs have superior armor, electronics, and ATGMs. Europe also has more modern and long-range artillery. Not bad. Now, let's take a closer look at air defense systems and naval forces. SAMP-T Mamba is the primary air defense system of France and Italy, capable of intercepting ballistic missiles. This system employs Aster 30 missiles with a range of up to 150 kilometers, capable of destroying aircraft, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles. Its key advantage lies in its rapid reaction time and the ability to simultaneously track and engage up to 10 targets. However, its main drawback is the relatively high cost compared to the IRIS-T SLM. IRIS-T SLM is the latest European medium-range air defense system, developed in Germany. It uses IRIS-T missiles adapted for air defense with a range of up to 40 kilometers. Its main strengths include high maneuverability and effectiveness against low observable targets such as drones and cruise missiles. The IRIS-T SLM has already demonstrated high efficiency in Ukraine, successfully intercepting over 90% of targets. The downside is its shorter range compared to the SAMP-T or Patriot systems, but it is significantly cheaper and more mobile. Finally, Europe already has American Patriot systems, the most combat-proven, long-range air defense systems. It can use PAC-2 missiles, 160-kilometer range, and PAC-3 MSE missiles, up to 100 kilometers, but with better ballistic missile interception capability. The Patriot system offers superior effectiveness against ballistic threats and seamless integration with NATO defense networks. It is widely deployed worldwide, including in Ukraine, where it has successfully intercepted Russian Kinzhal missiles. However, its main disadvantages are its high cost and complex maintenance requirements. Navy is the pride of nations. Europe has several aircraft carriers, but only France and the United Kingdom operate full-fledged strike carriers. Other countries have light aircraft carriers or amphibious assault ships capable of carrying aircraft. Russia has more air defense systems than Europe, but they are based on the Soviet umbrella defense concept, which is ineffective against modern missiles. Russian S-400 systems fall short in real combat. While they theoretically have long-range capabilities, they have failed to stop Storm Shadow, ATACMS, and even HIMARS in Ukraine. The UK operates HMS Queen Elizabeth and HMS Prince of Wales, twin aircraft carriers of the Queen Elizabeth class. These are the largest aircraft carriers in Europe. Their key features is a ski jump launch system, STOVL, designed for F-35B aircraft. Displacement, 65,000 tons. Length, 280 meters. Propulsion, gas turbine, non-nuclear, requiring refueling. Aircraft, up to 24 F-35B Lightning II, Merlin helicopters, AEW, drones. It can carry modern F-35Bs, but without catapults, meaning only vertical takeoff aircraft can be used. Meanwhile, France takes pride in Charles de Gaulle, the only nuclear-powered aircraft carrier in Europe. Displacement, 42,500 tons. Length, 261 meters. Propulsion, K-15 nuclear reactor. No need for refueling. Aircraft, up to 30 Rafale M, E-2C Hawkeye, AEW, NH-90 helicopters. This is the only European carrier with catapults, similar to US carriers, allowing the launch of heavier aircraft. So, Europe has 3 strike aircraft carriers and several light carriers/amphibious assault ships. Russia has only 1 aircraft carrier, Admiral Kuznetsov, which has been under repair for years. No further comments needed. At the same time, the European fleet is armed with several notable frigate classes. FREMM, Frigate European Multi-Mission, the most versatile and mass-produced European frigate. Manufacturing countries, France, Italy, Naval Group, and Fincantieri. Displacement, 6,700 tons. Armament, Aster 1530 air defense. Exocet, anti-ship. Scalp naval, land attack. FREMM is the most massive among modern European frigates, built for France, Italy, Egypt, USA, Morocco, Greece. Type 26, City Class, the UK's submarine hunter. Best anti-submarine warfare, ASW, frigate in the world. Manufacturer, United Kingdoms. Displacement, 8,000 tons, which is quite a lot. Armament, Sea Scepter, air defense. Tomahawk, land attack. ASROC missiles, anti-submarine. It has the quietest propeller in the world, making it ideal for tracking submarines. Horizon class, specialized air shield of the fleet, which has the best air defense system in Europe among frigates. Manufacturing countries, France, Italy, Naval Group, and Fincantieri. Displacement, 7,000 tons. Armament, Aster 1530, long-range air defense. 76mm artillery, Exocet missiles. European equivalent of the US Arleigh Burke class destroyers. Well, submarines are worth highlighting separately. French Scorpion is export submarine with the possibility of equipping an anaerobic power plant, AIP. This is global export model designed for different countries. Armament, torpedoes, Exocet SM-39 anti-ship missiles, and the capability to launch cruise missiles. Key feature, high modular design, allowing client nations to tailor it to their needs. But the German U-212, Type 212A, can be called the quietest diesel-electric submarine in the world. It can stay underwater for up to 3 weeks without surfacing thanks to fuel cell technology. Armament, torpedoes, IDAS, and Harpoon anti-ship missiles. Let's sum up the potential of the European fleet. Europe boasts around 180 modern frigates, destroyers, and corvettes across the fleets of the UK, France, Italy, Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands. Russia has around 100 combat ships, but most of them are aging Soviet-era corvettes and frigates. Europe's naval technology is superior, featuring better ships and aircraft carriers. While Russia has more submarines, its surface fleet lags behind Europe in every aspect. The conclusion is as follows: Europe controls the maritime approaches to the continent. Russia has no chance of dominance in open waters. So, will the Europeans unite? The idea of creating a European army is not new. Back in the 1950s, there was an attempt to establish the European Defense Community, EDC, which aimed to create joint armed forces. However, the project failed due to concerns from individual countries. Today, the situation has changed, and some EU leaders openly discuss the necessity of forming independent defense forces. In 2022, the Strategic Compass of the EU project was created, within the framework of which it is planned to create a European Rapid Reaction Force consisting of 5,000 military personnel, as well as strengthening EU defense production and reducing dependence on the US. Permanent Structural Cooperation in the Defense Sector, PESCO. France and Germany are actively promoting the concept of European military autonomy, focusing on joint development of a next-generation tank, MGCS, and a fighter jet, FCAS. MGCS, Main Ground Combat System, is a joint project of Germany and France to replace the Leopard 2 and Leclerc. It will have a modular design to integrate drones and robotic systems, enhanced armor and active protection against drones and anti-tank missiles, and potential integration of laser weaponry in the future. The expected start of production is 2035. The sixth-generation fighter jet, FCAS, Future Combat Air System, was co-developed by France, Germany, and Spain. It is planned as a European counterpart to the American F-35. It will have built-in artificial intelligence, escort drones, and stealth technology. Planned deployment 2040. Eurodrone, Europe's first strategic drone, is under development. Its authors are Airbus, Leonardo, Dassault. Deadly kamikaze drones from Rheinmetall and MBDA. Modernized SAMPT Mamba air defense systems from France and Italy. Germany finances creation of a new air defense system, Sky Shield. Volkswagen has announced plans to enter the defense industry. It is planned to produce military vehicles, including armored vehicles. Development of electric military vehicles for the European Army, potentially the production of drones and artillery systems. German concern Rheinmetall has increased the production of ammunition by 10 times, launching new factories in Germany and Hungary. Airbus Defence and Space is actively working on drones, satellite systems, and fighter jets. Based on existing arsenals, potential capabilities, and ongoing developments, 3 key military powers are shaping up within a unified Europe: France, Great Britain, and Germany. Europe is rapidly expanding its defense industry and may soon become self-sufficient in weapons production, reducing reliance on the US. So what's next? Can Europe survive without NATO? The first question is financial resources. NATO's total military budget in 2024 is approximately $1.2 trillion, with the US covering around 70% of the expenses, around $850 billion. The combined military budget of the EU countries is around 300 billion euros, which is significantly lower than that of the US. At the same time, only 11 out of 27 EU countries meet NATO's requirement of spending 2% of GDP on defense. To compensate for the absence of US support in Europe, spending would need to increase not to 2%, but to 4 to 5% of GDP. Are countries willing to take that step? Europe has several possible scenarios for development. The first is a complete withdrawal from NATO, which would mean full independence from the US and significant investments in its own military development. This carries both advantages and disadvantages. The second option is to remain in NATO while strengthening the European army. In this case, the US would remain the security guarantor, while Europe would gradually develop its own forces. An increased production of European weapons would reduce dependence on the US. However, this would still mean reliance on American support. Finally, the third option is to create a parallel defense alliance within the EU. This aligns with the declared interests of France and Germany. Europe would achieve strategic autonomy without leaving NATO and would be able to cooperate with the US on equal terms. However, such an approach would require a radical reform of the EU's defense policy. Europe now stands at a historic crossroads: either remain dependent on NATO and the US, or become a full-fledged military superpower capable of defending itself against external threats. It has the potential to do so, but will its leaders have the political will to make it happen? It seems we will find out this year.